video is published by MBKP International LLC. In this video we're going to show you how to unstick your clamp if it's sticking. First you want to start by taking off the shield. And this would be for the G12 Pro or the G17 Pro paper cutters. Okay. In our first video on this, the first thing, and usually, is this right here. It could be rubbing up against this, so you just move that bolt in, and then there's another one over here. Depending on where it's rubbing, you usually can see a rub mark. Wherever it's rubbing heavily, you can do one or both, or either side or both. But if you move these in, and these bolts are no longer rubbing on this side, and this one also here, over here, if they're no longer rubbing and it's still, and you put this down and you lift this up and that clamp just stays there, and you got to kind of put like a screwdriver in it to pry it up, then it pops up. If it's still sticking, there's a few other things you can look for here. First one is just to make sure the corner of this here is not rubbing on this. I drew a chalk line on there just so you can see what I'm talking about. If this edge was touching this, if the edge of this was touching this, it could be grabbing it, and as you can see, like it would probably leave a line like that. Okay, look for that, and just you can just see if there's a space between it. Basically, if there's a space between it right there, then it's obviously not rubbing. So you're good there. And that'd be about the only thing left on the top if these weren't rubbing, these bolts here. Then you're just going to basically, again, if you take the shield off, it's a good idea to have this in the down position, the blade, whenever you're working on it. Okay, I'm going to be lowering and raising this clamp as I turn this over. So let's turn it on its side. And what you're going to be looking for, there's a few areas you may want to look for first. First one is this bolt right here. It could be, if it's screwed down too tight, it could be pushing up against this, and you would see some, again, you would probably see some rub marks. Just look at it. As long as there's a really fine gap there, you should be good. And you can lower and raise the handle while you're looking at it, or have somebody else do it while you're looking under it. Just make sure it's not rubbing on it. It's just supposed to be close to it, maybe a millimeter. The bottom of this bolt here is supposed to be about a millimeter away from this. If it's rubbing on it, then it could catch it and hold it, and you don't want that. So then just loosen this bolt up a little bit, then back this thing up just a turn or two, then tighten that bolt back up. You just want a hair of a space between that. And after checking that, if that's good and it's not rubbing, and you back that up a little bit and it's still not rubbing, there's a couple of things you want to look for. These things here, it slides in and out on this rail here. You can see them sliding up and down on the rail there. And there's one on this side too. Here's the rail, and that thing just slides in and out on it. Just you may want to put a little lube on there, whether it's WD-40 or if you have a little grease, and you just lift it up and then put a little grease with your finger there. And on this side too, a little grease. Grease is better, but if you don't got any, and by grease I mean just like some all-purpose bearing grease. You can get it at like an auto parts store for like $2 a jar like that. But just want to make sure, they usually don't need no lube, but if something's binding, you may have to check that and put a little lube on it. Another spot would you can put a little lube on the top of this. This rubs over this thing, top of this thing. You can put it all the way down and then lube it up a little bit on the back side of this thing. Then lift it up and lube a little bit on the back side of that. Those will be 3 lube areas. One on the top of this moon-shaped thing here, and then this area, this other rail here. You can just make sure all those are lubed up. Other than that, you just want, if that still doesn't do it, just basically you're going to be looking for any place that's rubbing. And you can just look at this stuff as you're moving it up and down, and just have someone move it up and down for you. Just look at it closely and just see if there's anywhere where it's catching or rubbing. Like again, that would have been one area. You can also put a little, maybe spray a little WD-40 in there, or liquid wrench, because there is a hinge in there, but you can't really get no grease to that. But that's pretty much it on those. There's a couple of spots like these things here, right there, a little WD-40 or liquid wrench in those holes there, and that one there. And I think that's it on the lube areas. But again, it's most likely, if it's sticking, you're looking for a place that's rubbing, like you'd see a rub mark or stick mark. Just you look at it closely and you just move it up and down and try to find the area, some area where it's rubbing or sticking. Because if it's not coming back up and that spring is good under there, then it's sticking on something. Whether it's pushed up against this thing here, this corner's pushed up against that and it's sticking. Whether these are pushed up against this and sticking. Whether this bolt here is screwed down too hard and pushed up against that and sticking, or whether this needs a little bit of lube in those areas. And that's just something you'd have to look. But again, just basically have someone moving this up and down while somebody with some decent mechanical skills would just be looking at this and trying to find a spot where it could be catching or rubbing in any of these moving components, because you can see what moves when you lower and raise this clamp handle, and you just look for anywhere where it could be catching or rubbing. That's basically it on this this video's property of MBKP International LLC.